Hello everyone, welcome to a new Stormworks video. In today's video we're going to be reviewing a coal engine I have made, and maybe you can learn how to make it yourself. I hope by the end of this video you'll have an understanding on how these coal engines work and maybe be able to build one. There are some bugs associated with this, so things might not work properly. So at the moment we've got this plugged into this system, and I'll explain the key components. So we have this firebox. You have a coal hopper here, which you can actually load and unload. Like look, I've got some coal in my inventory here. You pick the coal up, you put it into the system, and that's how you fuel your thing up. So when this firebox is running, the temperature in the boiler goes up, and the boiler's getting water from the tank, which goes into a turbine, which goes to this. So this duct here is a steam coal hopper. When you just click it like that, and it's connected. That's all you need to do with this. Now you can adjust the coal level if you have automatic fueling when you spawn into creation. Just adjust how much it is, just leave it at 100. So here there are 4 connections. We have an exhaust, which just goes right here, an air, which goes here, and then a coolant and a heat. If you're wondering what this component here is a firebox. I've got the large version, but there is a small version of the firebox. So just keep that in mind for when you're building your engine. This component here is the boiler. The boiler, there's only one boiler, it's called the steam boiler. If you're trying to find it, it looks like this. You have 4 connections: the water in, coolant A and coolant B, and a steam out. So over here, you have the heat coming out of the engine and into one of the coolants, and the cool air coming into the engine on the other. You have your water pipe, which goes out and into this tank here. Now there is a valve here. If you look at logic connections, and I'll explain the logic behind that in a second. Then on this bit we have the steam. The steam simply goes through and into the turbine. The turbine looks like this. It is called the steam turbine, and you can see it has 2 torques. I only use one in this design: steam in and steam out. So in this model it's rotated, so there's the 2 pipes in here. The steam comes out of the boiler and into the turbine, and then there's this connection out, which just goes as an exhaust, so that the steam can just be let out after it's been used in the turbine. You can use a condenser, but that's a bit more complicated and will not be covered in this tutorial. Here, to ignite the engine, you just have to hold the start button, and as long as there's fuel, it should work. The ignition here, you just plug into fire here, and then see these number inputs. You don't need to have all of these into dials, but I do just so you can see how the different things work, and you've also got them named so you can figure out that you don't need to do it. It's just nice to have, especially if you want to control the engine. for the valve that I was talking about earlier with the water coming in, you have two threshold gates. One is the pusher and the steam boiler that goes into here, and if it's between 0 and 3, it sends a signal into this AND gate, and the other threshold is the steam boiler temperature. And if this is between 100 and 500, it should never get to 500 by the way, then it goes into this AND gate, and then this just goes into here. And I had it the other way, but it's better to have it this way, because then it actually takes the temperature into account. And for electricity, I have just hooked up the battery to every single component that has an electrical thing, so everything is nice and powered. Now I would say for this, if you can't get your firebox working, a good thing to check is just to delete your exhaust and your air and put it back in. That's a bug I've found and the solution. Another thing is with this water, this tank has to be water. I'm not sure what the difference is between fresh water and seawater, but just put it on fresh water as that's what they'll use in real life. If it's diesel or any kind of fuel, it's not going to do anything. So that's two mistakes and bugs that can happen. So to turn this on, we press the coal ignite. You should see a little flare on the engine there. You'll see that on the side of the bar, if you're in survival, you've actually heated. And here you can see the boiler. There's the temperature that's slowly climbing. Once it gets to 100 degrees, it's going to convert the fluid into steam, and the pressure is going to start rising. If the pressure gets to 10, the steam boiler will explode, and you don't want that. Then the steam just goes into this turbine, and this should be powered. So we'll just wait. Okay, here it is, almost at 100, and there, to 100. Now the fluid's going up because this is true, and you can see the pressure is rising. Then once it gets to 3, the fluid should start going down, and you can see steam is starting to be released in little puffs, and your turbine should be going very quickly. You can see the pressure goes to either 7.5 to 8, and that's fine. It should just climb there, and then it should slowly go down, and once it gets below 3, the threshold will be activated, more water will go in, and then the pressure will rise again. It will fluctuate at a nice even level. This may not be the best design, but it's a design that seems to work, and there's more things you can do to play around with this. So I hope you understand how some of these things work, like the boiler, the turbine, the firebox, and I hope you can make your own creations off this and maybe get a more efficient design or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you want to see more tutorials on these updates. I may do something on nuclear power, which is also came out on the update, and I'm going to leave that off there. Goodbye.